Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Agumba, an MSc student of cybersecurity. We want to talk today about secure network architecture and vulnerability analysis. First, let us have to know this terms. What is enterprise-grade segment design? Is a network architecture that divides the network into multiple isolated segments or zones, and therefore it improves security, performance, and manageability. What are the core layers that we have? First, I'll start with perimeter. So the perimeter is the utmost defense boundary, usually including firewalls and intrusion prevention, controlling traffic entering and leaving the network. And we want to look at the perimeter layer components. We have routers that are connected in parallel to the ISP and providing load balancing and redundancy. And the routers connect to the pair of firewalls configured into control and inspect all the incoming and the outgoing traffic. And the firewalls then connect to the internal network or core switch. What is DMZ? It is a physical or logical network that contains and exposes an organization external facing services to an entrusted network, and usually the internet, and thus it adds additional layer of security to an organization LAN or local area network. And what are the internal network components? This comprises of core switches that enforces VLAN segmentation, so traffic is segmented logically by VLANs for security and traffic management. And a DHCP server handles IP addresses assignment dynamically across the network, as seen in the diagram. And there are the departmental segmentation depending on the company. We may have so many departments, but I want to look at five of them to be precise: HR, IT, sales, finance, and operation. And with each department having 25 clients. What is RD air-gapped system? It is a physically isolated environment that is used for highly sensitive data and testing, and as seen in the diagram. So what is internal firewall or VLANware layer 3 switch? Their function is to provide segmentation between the DMZ and integral network or among VLANs and the LAN, and therefore they control traffic between the internal segments, like for all the departments, and between LAN and DMZ, and thus enforce access control lists and VLAN policies. And what is a local area network? Their main function is they are the internal network where other user stations, workstations like printers and servers reside. And they are segmented using VLANs for different departments, such as HR, as side. We talked about this initially. So I want to look at the intellectual tools that we use to ensure that security is as maximum as possible. First is the GVM, Greenbaum Vulnerability Manager. It's a tool to scan network and systems and security vulnerabilities and generate detailed report for remediation. And Wireshark is a network protocol analyzer used to capture and inspect network traffic in real time for troubleshooting and security analysis. And Firewall ID is a dynamic firewall management tool, which is always used in Linux systems that controls the network, defining rules and zones to protect hosts and networks. And intrusion detection, IDS and IPS, their work is to monitor network traffic for malicious activity and policy violations. IPS can actively block threats, and typically they are placed between the firewall and the core network or in front of crisis assets. And they work along the CM for alerting and correlation. And security information and event management system (CM) are aggregate logs. They aggregate logs and security alerts from across the network firewalls and endpoints and IDS and APS, and therefore they correlate events and triggers alert of suspicious behavior. Endpoint protection platform actually provides antivirus, anti-malware, and behavior analysis on client machines and servers. And therefore, they protect the end user devices in a LAN and communicate with a central management system or servers that report any threat to ensure compliance. And network access control actually validates devices and users before granting access to the network, and therefore they enforce posture checks, patch levels, antivirus status, and so on. And we want to look at now the virtual private network. As we said already, they allow remote users to securely access internal network resources, and they do this by encryption, doing encrypting communications through from the endpoints, and uses multi-factor authentication. And DNS servers like the DNS, DHCP file, email databases, they provide core services needed to network functionality and business operations, and usually they are isolated in server VLANs, as we already talked about. And we want to look at the components of interaction or summary. Then for the traffic flow, there is the internet permanent firewall, DMZ, internal firewall, VLANs, endpoint servers, and so on. For monitoring, we have IDS, IPS, CM, which continuously monitor traffic and log activity. And access control, we have the NAC that ensures only trusted devices join the network, firewalls, and VLAN enforce segmentation. And for remote access, we have VPN, which securely integrates remote users into the internal network. And for response loop, we have alerts from EPP, AIDS, CM, and so on that trigger the admin to take action. And we, having performed GVM scan, we realize that we have the results may be viewed in the report as the vulnerabilities being critical, high, medium, or low. And we can use filters to apply filters to organize them by host, severity, CVE identifiers. And the key vulnerabilities that were seen were outdated services, misconfigured or open ports, missing security patches, weak authentication, exposed administrative services, among others. And the challenges were increased attack surface due to IoT and 5G and so on, complexity leading to configuration errors, immaturity of some new protocols leading to zero-day vulnerabilities, privacy concerns with large-scale data and distributed computing, and difficulty in monitoring encrypted or dynamic traffic flow. And the implication of this were there's need to secure by design in protocol and infrastructure. Continuous patching and vulnerability control management is very critical. Training of staff, there should be industry collaborations on the standards, and again use advanced monitoring tools like AI. And these are my references, and I will say